Hello and welcome to my channel. Well, we're up here in high altitude again because um, I have to keep in mind the parameters I set for myself on this, and that is my most carried and used knives of a certain category of 2024. Not all knives that I have at that category, just the ones that I used throughout the year. And of course, 2024 is not completely over, but um, before I get into the next category, the prior category was my favorite small fixed blades, and I left this one out. I just recently got it, but this one should go in there also. It's the little BPS knife, the little fin or whatever they call it. But yeah, this is a great little one, and I've been using it also, but I left it out of the last category. All right, so medium-sized fixed blade knives. This is kind of like the sweet spot for a fixed blade knife for me. I mean, I like the smaller ones and I like the bigger ones, but this one seems to be about the biggest, most practical kind of size to carry around. And that is anything that's beyond a 3-inch blade up to like 5 inches. So like 3 to 5 inch blade. In the handles can be, whatever. But I found that that's what I carried the most and used the most. And this won't go in a chronological order or anything. I'll try to put it. I'll try to put it in that order. Let's start off with the Kaboom. This was when I was in my Tanto phase, and I still like Tanto knives and blades. Now, if you were to take this one, I haven't covered my bigger blades, which is like beyond 5 inches, beyond 5 inch fixed blades, because we can go on forever if we keep breaking them down into smaller categories. But so like small, medium, large, and I call these like medium blades. This is a great knife, man. It's lightweight. You run into that when I'm about to get into on Bowie knives a lot. Some people will forget the original intent of a Bowie knife was not a machete. It was not a tree chopper. I mean, they've evolved in all that stuff now, but it was a fighting knife, all right? A fighting knife. And what is the advantage of a light blade? It's fast. It's still stronger than flesh, but it's fast. It's quick. It's light. It's easy to carry. You get a big chopper blade, you get something, like, again, for example, you take a Bowie knife and you try to turn it into, something that you're, yeah, a well-made knife should be able to withstand a batoning and all that other stuff, but that's not what a Bowie knife was made for. It's a fighting knife. It was made for fighting. If the handle is a rat tail, as long as it held on while you're fighting, it was good enough. It wasn't designed for you to sit there and take a big old tree limb and smash it through and say, look at me splitting logs. And the guy right next to him with a hatchet is going, yeah, that's what I got one of these for. But anyways, I get off on my anti-baton rant. But I really like this one. And this one caused me to want to get the Master Tanto, which I eventually did. We'll get into that later on. But I carried this one, and I used it a lot, mostly goofing around and playing around, stabbing stuff, I made the sheath for it. It's fairly thick and sturdy, like tool leather and everything. I don't know if I originally made it for it, but it's what it rides in now. Because of the SRK-C sheaths, they have issues here. For example, the SRK-C sheath. On some of them, they will dull the blades. Now you can sharpen that out. As the more you keep sharpening, or you could try. The best one would be like to have a long drill bit and get it in there, right there where that joins, and just drills all the way down, and it will never contact the edge of your blade. Simple fix. I don't know how expensive that drill bit is, because you wouldn't want a regular one. It will only go about like this far. You'd want a long drill bit. And it doesn't have to be huge diameter. But that would be the fix for that. Or you take a metal rod and you heat it up to like red hot, and you put it in there and you plastic weld, you plastic open that up, you know, like, it's kind of messier and everything, but I think that would work because this is just plastic, right? Anyways, we're coming to the SRK-C. For me, this is a great one to carry around and everything, because again, as long as your blade length doesn't exceed, you know, like 5 inches and stuff, you can usually have a handle, you know, that's not 5 inches, so you can keep it under 10 inches and stuff. With me, if the blade starts getting really long and the handle starts getting really long, it starts limiting. I did carry this one cross draw carry. I mean, you know, I put it right back to vertical or horizontal, vertical carry on this one. But I was carrying this one cross draw. It's just that, like I said, the real estate on my body is not, you know, that is huge. Compared to this, I mean, look at this. Like I said, for a knife that you're carrying around with you all the time, see? I mean, it's almost half the size. Now that little notch right there, if you're watching my videos from earlier this year, it's from, I was throwing this at some furniture, and it hit hilt first and bounced back and hit the concrete and put a chip in the edge. Not a roll, a chip. And instead of sharpening it all the way down to that, I mean, that would get rid of the, you know, it would make it a thinner knife, basically. I basically turned that into a serrated notch. You'll still feel it. It still drags, but it's not going to drag as much. It's a single serration. It's not going to drag as much as if it wasn't sharpened. But, yeah, they make these in 3... They're going to make them in 3V. They're supposed to come out on my, in April, I think on my birthday. That's another thing that happened throughout the year was, on my birthday, we had a solar eclipse that passed right over. Oh, that was great. That was fantastic. I mean, it was a great birthday gift. Also, I used this one, the case. We'll have to put his number up here. It's the 365. I gotta look at this. No, it's, yeah, 365-5. Still kind of gunky. Look at that. I haven't cleaned it up. I rode hard and put up a wet. There's stickiness and hair and tape. Yeah. Knife abuse noted, and one demerit is taken away from you. But yeah, this is great for cutting cardboard. That's mainly what I was using it for was cutting cardboard, and I was surprised at how well this thing cuts through boxes and everything. I just didn't think about it that much, but so I used that quite a bit. That's another one, case knife, another great knife. And then here's one of the ones I finally bought was the SE4. See, I had the 3, I had the 5 and the 6. So naturally, you know, I just had to go with the 4. And with this one, instead of 1095, I want to go with S35VN because I am in a fairly humid North Texas and everything. We get a lot of Gulf air in here, salt water and us. And I do crazy things, you know, like stab furniture and stuff like that, or play around, throw knives in the mud, and forget to completely wipe it off, and put it in the sheath and come back and, wow, look at that. Let's call it patina. I did that on purpose, you know. But with this, I'm not as much worried, you know. Yeah, S35N is not as strong as 1095, maybe on beating it with the stick and everything. But again, you already know we don't have to go through that rant. I've already pre-covered that rant for you. What I feel about batoning. This is a great knife, man. I carry this one a lot. If I'm in doubt as to whether I want to carry a larger fixed blade knife on me, because I always have a small fixed blade on me, I usually go for this one to carry. All right, and then if you watch this is my restoration of basically one of these knives. As you can see, a lot of the metal was sacrificed due to rust and corrosion and everything, but this was in the back of my Jeep, and I bought it when I was in the military, and there's just a lot of nostalgia to it. I mean, I learned a lot of stuff, like peening handles and how leather stack handles don't like to stay stacked when you're beating on them with a hammer unless you got glue in there. And I didn't want to do the glue, and I didn't do the glue on this, but I wound up having to make my own little spacer in there. Now, I made a spacer on this one too, just because the handle was getting loose. It's still, you can see it's not as secure, but look how well that blended in. I put it right there instead of here. And all that is bank line or cord or whatever, just tied in a notch and cinched up just to tighten this guard up. Another method that you can use for, see, this one's tight. Another method that you can use on this is some kind of shim. You know, you could put like a piece of metal through here and a piece of metal through here. You know, maybe 2 half moons or whatever. Just slap them in there. Because they make all kinds of shims in different material, brass, all kinds of stainless steel. You can get them in all kinds of sizes. A feeler gauge is basically, find a narrow automotive feeler gauge. You don't have to go find anything special. And cut it to the right size and slip it in there, and that'll tighten up because sometimes that's kind of wonky, you know, that feeling of it doesn't do anything. I mean, it's still secure. It's not going to go anywhere. It's just that's just enough to bug you sometimes. But anyways, I carried this guy. I used it a lot. And now, if I'm going to pick up a knife and go somewhere, you know, like the lake or something, which it's not happening as much because it's wintertime now and it's cold and rainy, and even on a bicycle going almost 30 miles an hour, you feel it, the wind chill. And your eyes will tear too if it's cold enough. I need to get, glasses are not good. I've got some goggles, but I don't, you know, like wind and dust goggles, GI ones. I've got those. That would probably help. But anyways, yeah, that's the ones I carried the most. The next one that I'll probably try to do is, just to get them all out of the way, is the larger fixed blade knives that I carried in 2024. But if you look through my past videos, you'll see, you probably won't see me talking about this one as much, but you'll see me using these other ones and carrying them throughout the year. And that's what I keep trying to remind myself. Don't pull out all of your knives, you know, because we'll be here forever and you don't have that big enough of a screen. Just concentrate on what your objective was. So there. So that's what I did. I like these, like I said, normally I don't do this, but if I was forced to have only one of these, ooh, this is rough. This is so rough, man. You got nostalgia and practicality with practicality, and then, oh man, who can I can't do it, man. That's why I've got more than one knife. I can't just sit here and say, all right, you're only going to take one. I'm tempted to say this guy right here. But man, would I miss having these things, or this, or even SRK-C, man. It's inexpensive. It's about the right size. It's got that kind of buoy shape. It's not clipped as enough. You know, that's the only thing about the SC. This one is more of a drop point, you know, type of look. It's okay, but I mean, you're basically carrying a sod buster with you, which is all right. Again, there's nothing wrong with them. I just like the more pointy, stabby, pointy look. You know, I like that. Call me crazy, and many have. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.